There are four main outcomes in the Greenfield model: accelerated academics, life habits, excellence in enrichment, and student, staff, and family motivation. First one is accelerated academics. And we want to make sure that all of our students are engaged in really rigorous academics that are preparing them for college. And that means that our students will be ready to take AP exams in high school. We say accelerated academics because we want students to be on a personalized pathway where they're able to go at their own pace, meeting a minimum pacing bar. But for many students, that means that they'll be able to go ahead. And so given the increased time we have for self-directed learning and the opportunity for students to go more at their own pace, we really want to be pushing them so that by the time they get to high school, they're really ready to engage with college level work. So for life habits, we have a set of 10 life habits that we think are really critical for student success in both life and in college. And so we integrate those habits throughout our program. Students learn about them in goal teams, they discuss them in goal teams, they reflect on their progress towards the life habits, they share that progress with their families when they attend dream teams, and we infuse them throughout the day. And so when students are in class, they're talking about drive and empathy and gratitude. And we really want to make sure that students are building them, demonstrating them, and then we infuse that throughout student experience. The next aspect of the model is student, teacher, and family motivation. And a key part of our program is wanting to ensure that students are on fire. They love school. They love showing up each day. They can't wait to get into their classrooms. They love their personalized learning. They have an amazing relationship with their teachers. They're really engaged with the content, and they are driven to set personalized goals and reach those goals. And those goals include academics and their life habits and their enrichment and their expeditions. And so we really want to make sure that students are on fire and driven in school. That also extends to teachers and families. We really want to create a space where families are a part of the community and they're working hand in hand with teachers and students as a team to help students thrive. And so we feel like in order to do that, we have to create basically an awesomely powerful community where everybody is working in tandem together and are super motivated and on the same page about what they're working towards. And that means that everyone needs to be clear on what it is we're trying to do, what students' hopes and dreams are, and how we can help them attain them. Have all of the information they need to be on the same page to make sure we're supporting students, and feel like we're all part of a team working together so that we feel like all of our efforts matter and they're paying off. And feel like the motivation will really fuel the other three habits in making sure that students are successful. Another pillar is excellence in enrichment. And we have a number of different enrichment opportunities across the model. And they vary a little bit by school, but there's a movement enrichment and a more academic or arts-based enrichment. So all of our students are either taking dance or martial arts or sports, and they choose one of those enrichments. And then students are taking visual arts or coding or music. And we really want students to be able to pursue areas of passion and develop a really deep skill in that area. And so if students love music, by the time they enter high school, they are going to be quite proficient musicians at whatever instrument it is that they've chosen. And we want students to both develop those passions because we think they are just critical to student development. They expose them to more aspects of the world. They open up different career opportunities for students, but they also give students an opportunity to shine in areas where they have strengths that might be different from academics or from other aspects of the model. And so it's another place for students to really demonstrate who they are and find their passions. One of the key elements of the Greenfield model is a smaller class size. And we accomplish that by having 2 teachers in the room for an 80-minute academic block. And during that time, students are split between 40 minutes on one side of the room working in a smaller group with a lead instructor, and then 40 minutes on the other side of the room working on self-directed learning with one-on-one coaching from their SDL instructor. And so we have about 32 students in a class. And so during an 80-minute block, For the first 40 minutes, students might be on one side of the room engaging in close reading of a text with a group of their 16 peers led by a teacher. And on the other side of the room, they're engaged in self-directed learning with 16 of their peers, and they're being coached and supported by our SDL instructors. Over time, as students develop more and more proficiency with self-directed learning, we could also imagine creating some even smaller groups within that framework, where students who need additional differentiated support could be pulled from the close reading groups that you could imagine having 10 students led by the lead, 6 students led by the instructor, and students sort of jamming on SDL on the other side of the room. One of the benefits of having the smaller group size in the room is that teachers are able to give students more and more frequent feedback. When you have a group of 16 students in close reading, you are able to circulate and respond and push student thinking and give students intensive feedback in a way that's a lot harder to do when you have 32 students. Our students receive daily feedback on their writing assignments. In writing class, every 2 weeks, they write a different essay. The essays rotate between narrative, argumentative, and informational. And because of the smaller groups, teachers are able to circulate during that time, give personalized writing feedback, either in writing or through mini conferences. And we found that the ability to get rapid feedback to students is a key driver for their growth. The same is true in self-directed learning. When you have 16 students that you're working with over the course of 40 minutes, you have a really good sense of where your students are, who needs what type of support, and you're able to circulate, provide really targeted feedback, and then follow up to see how students are doing on that. So sometimes within a given class period, you might have 2 or even 3 cycles of rapid feedback happening within a given block, which means that students are getting a lot more really personalized and intensive coaching to help drive their development.